What's good, everybody? Back to another episode of Arnold's Thoughts Podcast. It's your boy Arnold. We got another addition to Keys to the Game, and we're going to be talking about the mid-season break.
What are you thinking? Yeah. What are you thinking? Yeah. If you wanna know my thoughts, open your ears when I talk. Yeah. What are you thinking? Hey. What are you thinking? Hey. If you wanna know my thoughts, open your ears when I talk. Yeah.
Now, the mid-season break for most teams is when they're halfway through the season. You've already went about 3.5 months into the season, and now most teams give you like a week and a half break in between the season, kind of like in high school and college and everywhere, where you get like this break in between. You get to go home and see your family for Christmas and New Year's. We're in that mid-season break right now. Fortunately for me, I just got to the team recently, like 1 month ago, so I won't be going home because the price for the ticket is like the price for my whole month's salary or something like that. It's something crazy. And then because it is in the holiday time and I spent so much time at home, I just got here. So anyways, what do you do when you go on these breaks? Well, one, you want to make sure you're staying in shape. You don't want to be caught off guard like, well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to take a break and it's starting and the season's starting all over. No, because going into the second part of the season is the most important part of the season.
What's up, guys? I just dropped my new ebook, 6 Must-Have Steps to Be an Overseas Basketball Player. You know, I've been playing for the last 9 years. I got all the steps and the traits that you need to start your journey with networking, with getting a mentor, all the things that you need to start your journey to be a protege. So go get that ebook, click the link in the bio, and make sure you get your steps to being that overseas pro one day. Let's go.
You don't want to be caught off guard thinking that I'm going to go and relax and then everything is going to be good. Everything is going to be okay for me when I get back to the team. Some guys leave to go home for the break and do not come back. Teams use that as excuse like, oh yeah, well, you can go home for the break and then tell you, hey, we replaced you. So be careful when you go home for these 2 weeks, for this break, this Christmas break. Make sure you stay mentally locked in. I got some friends of mine that are playing right now. I'm like, you going home? You're like, no, I'm not even going to go home because I got to stay mentally prepared and locked in for the second half of the season. You can look at it two ways. Like, at some time, I understand being with your family. Trust me, I'm not even going to be with my daughter this year. It is not something that I want, and I know she will miss me. I'm going to miss her for the holidays and stuff. But some of these times, you got to lock in and just you got to grind and get prepared and get ready for this second half of the season because it's so crucial. It's crucial to stay locked in and stay getting ready and preparing for the second half. You don't want to be one of those players that's just getting caught off guard. So you want to make sure you have your mid-season break ready, your workout. If you do go home, you're going to know that you have the gym ready. You're going to be able to hit the weight room. You're going to be, if it's Christmas Eve, you're in the gym early in the morning, you're getting your workout in, you're being able to hit the weights or whatever. Then you have Christmas where you chill. And then Christmas, after the day after, you just need to be right back in the gym, getting right back to it. You can't give yourself a reason to slip. In this game, everything is a slippery slope. You do not want to get caught off guard, not being prepared. You always want to stay prepared. And I know it's a difficult time to kind of figure out like, okay, well, nah, you got to go. I'm just speaking from my experience in all the years that I have played, and the guys that have went home and the guys that didn't go home, and the situations in between. Now, if you've been with a team 2-3 years and you're well established, by all means, go home, see your family, go do your thing. But if you're a first time on the team and in a new country and you only got a week off, is it really worth it for you to go out there and go home and spend a whole plane ticket? Because that's another thing. When you're dealing with this going home situation, everybody thinks that the team is just going to buy you a ticket to go home. That's coming out of your pocket. 90% of the time, if you want to go home, it's coming out of your pocket. They're going to make you pay for your own ticket to go home. So you got to think about it. I mean, for me, I'm in Buenos Aires. I mean, not even Buenos Aires. I'm in Argentina, just for an example, and I'm in a whole other city. So I would have to fly 3 hours to Buenos Aires. That's one ticket there. Then another ticket to Florida. That's another ticket there. So you paying for, and luckily I stay in Florida. For most people, that's a connection. When I was in North Carolina, it was here, Rio Grande, Buenos Aires, Florida, Miami, Florida, and then North Carolina. That's all coming out of your pocket. It adds up. Now you're playing catch up again. I understand. Like I said, I have a daughter. I know how important it is to be able to spend that family time. But you got to make sure you're staying locked in and not letting, this holidays time, not let you stay locked in for the season and what's mostly important. Sometimes you just got to make those sacrifices. Coming from someone who's been in the game a long time, sometimes you just got to make that. I went home several times, because I was on a well-established team and group and with a team that I've been with, and we won a championship before, and I was coming back, and I was there from preseason. So I was there for like 3.5, 4 months. The situation added up. Doesn't make sense for me. I just got here a month and a half ago, and I'm already leaving for another 2 weeks to go back home. And it's like, it just doesn't add up. So before you even get to this team, before you even make your decision, you got to ask does this situation add up for me? Is it more beneficial for me to stay and work and grind and get the things that I need to get done and get prepared for the next season? Or is it for me to go home and eat some chicken and buy gifts and that I already do and spend on a plane ticket? I would leave that decision up to you. I'm just saying there's a different case in every story. You just got to weigh your options and say which one is the best for me. Because the hard truth is, being a part of this life comes with hard decisions. You got to make these hard decisions to decide whether or not if this is what you really want. Because sometimes in this game, this is the type of decisions you got to make. And this has nothing to do with the basketball court. This really is the type of decisions you really have to come into agreement with yourself with. Because it does happen. It does make a big difference if you take those 2 weeks off and you come back, because when you come back, those teams are looking to get on a roll. They are looking to get going because this is the most important time of the season. This is the second half. We need to make playoffs. We need to have good rhythm with the team. And if you come back and you're not prepared, they will get rid of you faster than you realize. And nobody wants to come from a Christmas break, spending all that money, and then come back and get fired. That is the last thing that we want. That's the last thing that we want to happen at all. Take that into consideration. Also, if you say you do have a good situation and you are with a team and everything like that, make sure before you got to figure out with your team how to negotiate them paying for your ticket to go home, so that is not an expense on you. Most guys don't never negotiate that beforehand. They're so worried about the money in the season and the contract that they got at the end of the season that they don't realize that little mid-season break and negotiating that. Because most teams, if you do not talk to them, if you do not make it clear that, hey, I need a ticket, or we need to make some kind of compensation for us to have this ticket being paid for, they will not pay for that ticket. They will not pay for that ticket. You literally have to go to them, talk to your agent, talk to the people to make sure that they incorporate that in there somewhere into your contract, or come to some kind of deal where you have, maybe they pay for half and you pay for half. Because 90% of the time, most people, they're coming out of pocket. 90% of people are coming out of those pockets to go home. Got decisions to make. That's really all I have for you guys for this episode. Just a couple of keys and tips and just some things to take into consideration for this mid-season break. Just because it's a mid-season break, is it a break for you to get better, or is it a break for you to take a break? I don't believe it. Yes, rest, get your mind right. But when you're on a path to be the best you can be, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who's just on the path of greatness and legendary status and doing everything I can. Maybe it's just lost and nobody thinks like that. But the greats, you gotta think about it. Even on Christmas they got Christmas games. So, NBA has Christmas games. That's like a thing, Christmas games. So if the greats are playing, that means they're working. What makes you think that you're not supposed to be working as well? Just some food for thought. Till next time.